Hi all. Right, new game for Grant. Um, Fire in the Lake. Had this for a little while now, but never actually got it out and set it up. Um, it's very popular, I guess. One of the coin games, possibly one of the most popular. I'm not sure. The theme of it kind of appealed to me, but I've never played any other coin. I have Colonial Twilight. Is it Colonial Twilight? Which is the two-player one. I tried to get into that a while back, couldn't quite. I have played Labyrinth a bit. No, it's not coin, but it's similar. Um, some of the procedures are quite the same, and I really enjoyed that. So I did think I would get some enjoyment out of this. However, I'm not one for playing. I play solo. I'm always going to play solo, probably. But I'm not one for playing two-sided. And all the video footage on this game, there was a little bit I was finding, but they all basically just let the player control all the factions by the best of their ability, But maybe you pick one you're going to go, but rather than using the bots, there is bots on this. Rather than using them, they just play it to the best of their ability. And after looking over things and reading through the rules, some of the examples of play, I can understand why people do that, because the bots are incredibly hard to get right. I like to be a perfectionist if I can. I've only done one previous videos set, but it was for Enemy Action Ardennes. But it was quite a long series. Played both the German solo, then the Allied solo. Tough game to play as well, tough to get all the rules right. I wanted to try and create that video to get everything right, but well, if any of you watched it, there's still a lot of things that end up going wrong. So I wanted to try and play this and do the bots with us. Now, I think there's a good chance this video might not even appear for you to see. So no, we shall see. Because I've not really played the game. I've just messed about with it. So I've not got a clue. And strategies are going to be out the window here. I'm just going to be doing things, doing operations. I guess I'm just going to play as the US, and I'll let the bots take care of everything else. But there'll be nothing clever done. I'll probably make some daft moves. But the purpose, which was kind of the same as my name actually, Ardennes playthrough, was to play the AI properly. So that's what I'm going to attempt here. Like I say, we shall see if this even shows face. Because they're really challenging, really probably out of my depth, I think, trying to work these bots. Now, while going through this, I went and ordered the new, what was it, Truang bot expansion thing that runs it. It's meant to be a bit different. So I went and ordered that because I feel like it might be easier to use. I've not really read into much, but there's a guy, some of you might have watched his videos, he's going through just now. Don't think he's finished yet. He's got quite a lot of videos up, playing with the Truang expansion. Looks like a good series. I'm watching through some of that myself, but I found that maybe that way of the bot, I didn't quite like the idea it wasn't using resources. I don't know. Maybe that's not a big deal, but I haven't watched much into it anyway. But the other thing was, there doesn't seem to be much out there trying to go through the actual bot procedure. It doesn't look like there's much in the way of playthroughs showing the bot procedure. So I thought I'd give that a go. Now, set up for the full game. I mean, like I say, whether we'll get anywhere or not, I don't know. So I think this is the setup. I followed the instructions. I have the the pivotal cards set aside. They obviously don't come in for a while yet. Like I say, I know not an awful lot about this game, and probably shouldn't even be an attempt in this just now. But what I was going to do was just play through it myself, which is maybe what I should do, and maybe what will end up happening. Like I say, you might not get to see this, but then I thought, well, I might as well record it anyway, put it on video. So I've got the decks set out, the 68, 65. I've just got them in 3 piles because I think if I had them all in a pile, I've got them sleeved, so if they're all in one pile, I think they might fall over. So we've got the 64. Now, one of the videos I'd watched, the guy had put with the 64 cards, he had put the Q card down below the first 4 cards randomly somewhere, so that the first 4 cards will not include the Q card. I quite liked the idea of that. I mean, it'd be a bit frustrating, I think, if you drew the Q card within the first card, or even the first couple of cards, you know, because you get to see the next cards as well. So I've done the same as that. I don't think there's anything in the rules about that, admittedly, but I think it's kind of better if you don't see the Q card within the first 2 or 3 cards anyway. So let you get a chance to do something. Okay, so like I say, everyone's all set up, so I'm just gonna draw the first couple of cards, I guess. Okay, so let's see what we get. Right, card raise, and this will be the next card, so I'll just put that up there, like that. I think that's how that works. Now, there'll be a lot of mispronunciations within this game, so I'll just go by what I think. I'll say up front that if I get anything horribly wrong, then I apologise if it offends anybody. Okay, so Cadre, so that's going to be our first card. So I'll bring that down and we'll look at what's going to happen here. Okay, I don't think it's a great place to be putting anything, to be honest. So I've zoomed in there a bit on the card to have a look. Right, so the order's going to be VC, ARVN, NV, and US. So I'm not getting a shot this turn. Well, I guess you could have more than one passed, I suppose. I suppose that's possible. Anyway, so the VC are the first to have a look at this card. And notice it's a capability, a VC capability. So my guess is that they're going to be all about playing that event. What does it say? NLF Village Committees. VC rally in one space where VC already had a base may agitate as if support. May agitate as if support phase, even if coin control. Right off, every time I read these instructions, I'm like, what's going on here? So, I mean, a lot of these guys that have played all the coin games probably get used to that, and I dare say I will if I keep them up and keep them going. But I've got to break that down very slowly. I'll be pausing the camera a lot to look at a lot of rules, no doubt. So again, if you watch any of my previous stuff, the videos are kind of long, drawn out, and just how I like to do it. But you don't need to watch it, of course. You can just say, oh, to hell with this guy, let's move on. Right, so let me have a look and see where we start with that. Yeah, I've just realised I think I might need to adjust my table, because I think I need to show you the bot flow charts at least. I mean, I don't want to start showing you the rulebook and pointing out the rules that I'm reading and whatever. But I suppose the flow charts, if I'm going to go through, the VC, NVA and ARVN flow charts, then it'd be better to have a space to put them to show you as we're going through them, because that's the whole point of this, I guess. So give me a second, I'll try and adjust things so I can maybe show you that. Okay, let's see how we get on with that. Unfortunately, I had to fold that over, but that's alright, I think. Right, so the VC are first. So let's look. Can we start up the top left hand corner there with what was it? VC Canterra at support. So this doesn't even look yet at the possibility of playing the event. I think we've got to find out if they can't terror, and then the no box goes in here into the event. A lot of these things are probably different from the newer Truang expansion, which may have this done a bit better, but anyway, we're trying to do it this way, have a look. Whether I'll, once I get the Truang thing, maybe think that that's better and just move on to that, but let's just stick with this just now. Okay, so the first instruction we're looking at is VC Canterra at support. So it's either going to be a yes or a no. Right, okay. Yeah, and right away I think there was a bit, there's not much errata I think, but the bit that I come across, whether you could call it errata or not, it should say VC Canterra at active or passive support. I mean, it just says that support, so I think that's fair enough. In the rule book, it actually does miss the word support under the terror explanation 8.5.1. So, but again, you could probably understand it still from that. Okay, so can they terror? Okay, so I think this first one's quite easy. You guys that have played this before would know right away that this what happens probably. So they're going to try and terror if they have enough resources and underground guerrillas to execute terror in any space with active or passive support. So right, rather than swing around the map again, I'm not going to get the map all in as well. So once we start doing things on the map, but there's no all the underground guerrillas are all in areas with either opposition, opposition or there's neutral. So I don't think that one applies. It's not with anywhere there's active or passive support. The other one, there's an or here though. They have enough resources, again without taxing an underground guerrillas, to shift population equal to or exceeding a row of 2 6-sided die towards active opposition. So I suppose that might be possible then, because there's a couple where they've just got neutral. So hang on. Yeah, so they can't do this one because, yeah, there's not any guerrillas in an area where that's got active or passive support. However, they come down to this one, and I think this is possible. Shift population equal to or exceeding a row of 2 6-sided dice towards active opposition. Okay, I think they've got guerrillas in 4 areas that are neutral. 1, 2, 3, 4 that are neutral. So I think there are areas in which they could do this. But I guess we should just roll 2 6-sided dice first, because if this comes too high, because I've got to be able to have the resources as well. So what I'll do is I'll roll the dice first and we'll see where we're at. Ah, right, okay. Nice low roll then. Well, that might mean it does happen then. Just let me get my thinking right with that. So, well, they have the dice rolls 2, so they have more than 2. They've got 5 resources, and underground guerrillas to shift population equal to or exceeding 2 towards active opposition. Well, I think they can do this then. Okay, there's probably about the best sort of angle I could get. I suppose I could get it like this and get most of the picture in. I don't suppose you need to see what's going on here too much. Okay, so my thinking of this is it's got to have active away down the bottom there. These have both got active opposition. So's that. So's that. These are all where gorillas are, and so's that. And this one here. This one does not. It's neutral. However, it's got 0 population, so I don't think we do that one. This one's got a population of 1. It's neutral, so that could shift. This one's got a population of 2, so that one could shift. And the third one, this one here's got a population of 2 as well. It could shift. And we're going to shift by we activate one of the underground gorillas. Now we can't activate the second underground gorilla if it's going to leave the base vulnerable. Is that right? Without activating the last underground gorilla in any neutral or passive opposition space with any VC base. So I'm assuming you can only do this once. So I mean, I couldn't activate one and then activate one again, could I? I don't think so. So I think, now, I found when I was doing this that I ran out of the pawns, so I've stole some pawns from another game. So I think we can tear, so the one that's 0 then not, I think we can tear here, here, and there's the last one here. Now, I don't think we can do the one with 0 though, that's what I'm reading. It does say that. It says, execute terror everywhere that a shift is possible, not at 0 population, nor active opposition. So no, we don't do that one at 0. So and then going back to the flow chart, alright, back here. It says terror, what is it? Everywhere where shift possible, and that says highest pop. So it doesn't actually say that you can't 0 pop there, does it? Doesn't explain it on there, but it does in the rule book say that you can't go for the one with 0 pop. I suppose because you're not gaining anything with that. So everywhere where shift possible, highest pop. So we've got 2 with 2 population, and there's 1 with 1 population. But I guess we can do all 3 of them anyway, can't we? So to do this, we activate 1 underground gorilla, and it's 1 resource per province or city. So 1, 2, 3. So if we'd done it in each one of them, I think that would cost us 3 resources. So let's have a go at that. 4, 3, 2. Puts them down to 2 resources. And then we would do this one, and this one would be randomised because they're both got a 2. But I don't think it matters because I think we're coming to do all 3 of these anyway. So we activate a gorilla here, and then that puts us, gives us passive opposition, and there, which gives 1 times 2 towards their score, which is just off camera, but they're going from 27 up to 29. And then the next one, we would activate a gorilla here, and again given passive opposition here, given our 2 points up to 31. And then the last one in here, we activate gorilla, passive opposition, and then that gives us another 1 point, because it's just got a pop of 1 up to 32. So in each selected space, activate 1 underground VC gorilla. If a province or a city, place terror if none, and shift 1 level towards active opposition. So if line of communication, place sabotage if none. Right, I didn't consider the line of communication bit, did I? Yeah, of course they would have to have an underground gorilla on a line of communication. You know, they'd have to have one on this to make that happen, and they don't have any of that. And also, what I should have done was place a terror marker. If there's not one already, place a terror marker in each one of these spaces. So we get terror up here, and here, and here, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay, just want to back down about that one. There was 0 though. Yeah, I think that's right. So we've executed terror everywhere that a shift is possible, and not at 0 population nor active opposition. Let's say this is the other one that we could have put that to passive opposition, but it's not got a population, so it's got a 0 population. So it says we don't do that there. So I think that's right. And we've not activated the last underground VC gorilla beside a base. I think that's just because it made the base vulnerable. So yeah, so we were able to do it in 3 spaces, place terror markers, and then there's a second, I'll just come back to the flowchart. There's a second step there that if we had 12 plus VC resources and aid was less than 30, but we've only got two resources now, so that's that. So and also down the sequence in play we should be doing, hang on, this would be like we're the first to go, so he would be doing this one, so an op and a special activity. So that's what he was selecting, because that's what's got going. So he's done the terror, so now we need to come and see what his special activity is going to be. Okay, so completed the terror, now moved on to this. So it uses the tax and special activity to go with the terror. It says per box below, this box in here, I think. So what is that? Taxing up to 4 spaces with underground VC and no coin control. Okay, so the first step is if VC at 10 plus resources, you would subvert instead. Well, again, I'm only at 2 resources, so second step is on 2 then 1 econ line of communications. We don't have any underground gorillas on any line of communications. 3 is at active support. So okay, well that looks like that's been a complete waste of time because I've made a mistake in the setup, and that's why we wouldn't be able to do that. Alright, so I'm probably going to scrap this video. Bindin, Pleku, Can Ho should all have started at active support, and I forgot to put the markers in. Yeah, divvy. So that would have stopped all that. Or would it? Actually, no, maybe we can still survive this, can we? Let me go and check I've got everything set up properly. No, scrap that one as well. There might be a lot of this. I'm looking at the wrong setup now. It was the full setup I done, wasn't it? So they weren't marked with any support at all. Or opposition. Were they? No, they didn't show any. Yeah, I was wondering why there was none. That there was none with active support. I guess when I was doing the sort of examples of play, they used the medium scenario for that, so it's a bit more moved on a bit. I don't think there is. There's nothing at active support at all. This is at the beginning of the game, I suppose, in 1964 when things were all getting kicked off. So there's no active support, and then so priority number 4 is only if still at 0 resources. Well, that's not the case as well. So what happens there? that means we're maybe going to go up to subvert after all. Okay, yeah, so I think we're not going to tax after all then, because we can't get any one of them to work. So then it says, so if none, we go up to subvert here. So let's have a look at subvert. And up to 2 spaces with underground VC and ARVN cubes. Okay, so the rules say if the VC terrorised, rallied or marched but did not tax or ambush, they subvert in 1 or 2 spaces with underground VC guerrillas and ARVN cubes. So, you know what, I don't think there is any. Hang on. Yeah, I don't think there is. I don't think they can do this because there's not anywhere where there's underground guerrilla, there's not any ARVN cubes at all. So I go right down to the bottom of the rule. It doesn't have it on the... Oh yeah, it does. It says if no subversion is possible, the VC execute no special activity with their operation. So they just do op only. So yeah, it does show it there. So if none, no special activity. So that means they don't execute the op and special, I think. So moving back down here would mean that they just done op only. So that's forcing the next one to only have a limited op rather than the possibility of the event or a limited op. However, I think I'm right in saying that when you play as the bots, anytime it's a limited op for them, they get both. They get an op. Is that right? If it's limited op, I think I read something about that somewhere. Yeah, there we go. It's back at the 8.1. This third bullet. Operations not limited. Non-players must follow all rules as if players, except for the following. Whenever a non-player faction by the sequence of players to execute a limited operation, it instead executes a full operation and special activity. If it was to be a free limited op though, by an event, they have to do it limited. So the fact that the ARVN are going to be next and forced into this box, they are going to get op and special. However, they won't be able to get the event, which is still sitting there. It's rather strange maybe that the VC wouldn't look at that event, and I think going by what the few episodes I've watched of the... Sorry, I can't remember the guy's name. Is it Aaron, maybe? Is doing a playthrough. Yeah, Aaron Plays, is it? That was it. The Truan. I think they would have executed that event because it's a capability. I could be wrong though. It might not work that way. However, okay, so they do that, and I think that's them done. Yeah, so I think that's right. So we'll take these 3. That's where they done their terror operation. That wasn't too painful. Assuming I got it all right. There was that bit in the middle where I thought, oh, I've got things set up wrong. But okay, so now we're back to the card. See who's next. Like I say, it's the ARVN next in line. So let's see what they're going to do. So they have to come into this box here. Well, actually, is that right? Because they could pass, couldn't they? Yeah, let's not jump the gun, Grant. Let's look at their flowchart first. Okay, so here's the first box we look at for the ARVN. Pass event or operation. If the next card is ARVN capability, but the current card is not. Well, that's neither. The next card is not. There's the next card there. That's not ARVN capability. So, and then the next instruction is, if current card is any capability. Now, this does come out at the end. There's a VC, because the current card is a VC capability. So, if current card is any capability, if D6 is greater than the number of cards in the RVN leader box, play the capability. Okay, yeah, because that capability is quite nasty if the coin faction get to use it, isn't it? Because it causes VC to terror or agitate, must remove 2 VC guerrillas per space. Yeah, so that move that the VC just done, they would have had to use both. Well, they wouldn't be able to do it because the restriction about activating the last underground gorilla. So that's quite powerful. So okay, so we have to roll a dice here, don't we? Hang on. So if 1d6 is greater than the number of cards in RVN leader box, play the capability. Well, there's no cards in the RVN leader box. You guys will probably know, but I'm not sure if that one counts as a card. I'm thinking not, but I better just double check. Well, I can't find the wish. I could maybe search it up, I suppose, just to double check. I mean, it feels like as it's written, that card. You know, if there was a card in the box, there's not a card in the box. So my guess is we don't need to roll a dice here because 1d6 is going to be greater than 0. Is that right? Yeah. I'll just have a quick look in the forums. Okay, can't find any confirmation. It may well be out there, or it's maybe just me being a bit daft thinking that counts as a card, because it's not a card, it's part of the board, Grant. Okay, so yeah, so we don't need to roll dice because there's no cards in the RVN leader box, so we're going to play that capability. So let's look at what that's going to do now. So there we go, cadre, manpower to political sections. So VC to terror or agitate must remove 2 VC guerrillas per space. Now this stays in play. Does it stay in play? There's one that stays in play until the next Q card, isn't there? And then, wow, no, that one lasts the whole game. It must be as momentum, is it? Yeah, momentum cards last until the Q round. Capability to stay in play the whole game. So that feels like that's really strong. So wait till I find the wee marker for it. Okay, yeah, I was away hunting away to try and find out what agitate was all about. But it's something that happens in the support phase, which is when you've done a Q, I think. So from now on, anytime the VC want to do that terror operation that we've just done, it's going to cost them. They're going to have to activate 2 guerrillas to do it, and also if they want to agitate within that support phase, then again, it must be normally just 1. I've not looked into it yet. So this goes in. There's a wee box to put the capabilities up here. I know the board's on the sort of, the other way around, but there's no way I could put things on the table very well, I don't think. I think this is the best way to do it. So I know everyone's sort of upside down and a bit, but anyway. Okay, so that same played the event. Oh, hang on. They can't do that, can they? How could they have even played the event? The sequence of play doesn't allow them to play it. Ah dear. Yeah, I think we've just made a mess of that as well, haven't we? Yeah, sorry, not making a very good job of this. And this is probably why I shouldn't be trying to record it just yet and should just be playing it through myself. I think when I initially, because initially put the eligible ARVN into the limited op box, which is where it's got to go if it's going to do anything, and then I remembered that I had to look here just in case they wanted to pass. So we were only looking here to see if they may pass, and I think they can't, because they can't do the event. Yeah, but would they pass? So it's step number 4, and it says if ARVN resources are less than 3, then they would pass. So that's not the case. So now we then go on to carry out an operation. Oh, okay. Well, at least we went over what that VC capability, that cadre was going to do. So I'll take that marker off again, which is probably good for the VC that they aren't playing at. But the reason the VC went from what they were going to do a special and an op, which would have allowed the ARVN to play the event. Hang on, I'll show you. Yeah, originally with the VC being first eligible, we had them going there because they were going to do an op and special. They ended up not being able to do a special, so they just went op only, which is this box here. But if they had stayed in that box, then the ARVN would have went into this box and then they would have carried out the event. However, with them only doing the op, the ARVN either pass, and that's why I went and looked at the box and then got carried away thinking I was able to play the event. So they're going to come into here now. They're not going to pass now, so they're going to carry out a limited op. But as I've already said, that a limited op for the bots means that they can do a full op and special. Okay, so take 2. Right, so we move into this box. So 12 plus, is there 12 plus ARVN pieces in available box? There is. So yes, so we're going to train, hopefully. Hopefully that's going to happen. So in up to 3 plus 1 to pacify spaces with no NVA control nor govern. Right, let me have a look and see how we go about this then. Okay, so we're going to train in up to 3 cities or coin bases. So I guess we need to find them first. And is there any up to 3 cities, coin bases? So there's no tiebreakers between that. So I think if we find more than 3, then we'd need to just randomise it, I think. Right, let me have a look. Well, actually, there is some priorities. So the first 2, how is it the word them? Give me a sec. Yeah, just wondering how to word these, because some of them are black numbers, some of them have white numbers. Well, I'll call them black and them white, whereas that's actually a white number and a black background, but I'll call that black, not white. So I think obviously the black ones are they're sort of top level priorities. So primary, and then maybe secondary, and then between these 1 and 2, first you would go with that, and then that, and then that one says within 1 and 2, and then it starts going into letters and breaking it down. I'm not actually sure how you word them, but I think it's quite clear. So yeah, we don't know where we're going to place these first, but there is a couple of tiebreakers down here, because first of all we want to get exactly 6 cubes. We want to place exactly 6 cubes, and then evenly fewest first troops in tie. Okay, I'll come to that. And then Rangers. Well, we can put 6 because I've got there's 7 troops in the available and there's 10 police. So anyway, this says within 1 and 2, so we're within 1 here. We want to first add coin control to the space, or if we've already got coin control, then to add police or ARVN troops where none of that type. So I think that's where we need to look at cities or places with bases where we can. Well, actually, no, it'll not be bases, will it? Because we've already got coin control, so that won't be relevant. But then it might jump to that one. Oh, okay, right, let me have a look. Right, okay, I'm kind of getting that wrong. I'm saying they would be coin control, but that's not necessarily the case. All the cities are coin controlled at the moment anyway, which I'm sure you probably all knew that. And so we're trying to see if there's any province that we could add ARVN to gain coin control. So, and it would have to be where there's a base. Okay. So I think this is a candidate here. This is the only one this has got a US base. There's not any ARVN bases on the map. And the only other US base is in Saigon, but it's coin controlled. But if we put some ARVN units into there, we would certainly gain control of it. So I think that's where we want to go. So it says in up to 3 spaces. I think that's possibly the only. Oh, right, but we could be adding police or ARVN troops where none of that type exist as well. Right, hang on. No, because they have to go. The 3 spaces have to either be cities or have coin bases. Yeah, right, okay, but there is multiples of them, Grant, but the first priority is to add coin control. So I think that's going to be a candidate for a train there. So that's one of the spaces. Now it says we've got to place exactly 6 cubes. I'll just count them there. There's 17 cubes, a mixture of troops and police. So I think we've got to find our other 2 spaces first. Well, if there's going to be another 2 spaces, but we can't get coin control from any, because all the cities have coin control. So that's only one that we can gain coin control. So the next priority is to add police or ARVN troops where none of that type. Alright, dogs on the go. Okay, so it's still simple because, although the way I'm reading that in the rule book, it's first to add coin control, and then it says within that priority, first to add either police or ARVN troops. Well, I wouldn't have said, that's an A and a B, it wouldn't. Yeah, maybe I'm reading that priority wrong. Hang on. Yeah, so they call them nested priorities. So within 1 or 2, to add coin control. Now, if we could tie break it down even further, it would be to add police or ARVN troops where none of that type. So we've only got one that's going to add coin control, and all the cities and then the base, well, the one we've already targeted, is going to have ARVN troops and police. So I think that's the only one we can target. So we've only got that one target space, but then it says in the rulebook we pause the training operation to govern or if not possible, transport before resuming training. So yeah, I mean, we're down to this bit here, number 2, so it does say conduct a special activity. So I think from there, we've still got this bit to come, but we pause there and we conduct a special activity. So we come across here, and we either going to govern, or if we can't do that, well, there's no way of doing the govern, we come down to transport. So let's have a look at govern first. So it's in 2 coin control support spaces with no train. 1 if shaded mandate of heaven, so I'm assuming that's a capability or something. A card that's in play or something. Right, the rulebook says 1 or 2 spaces though, I think. I read. Where are we? Oh no, actually it's not. I'm looking at I don't know if this is... I think you've got to look at the actual player raids for the actual player factions, you know, if you're playing it as a faction. I know there's some variations, and I guess you do need to look at the non-player rules to get it correct, because within govern there it says 1 or 2 coin control spaces on the player aid. It only mentions in 2 coin control support spaces there. So what does it say in the rule book? Yeah, it does say it says in up to 2 spaces other than Saigon with coin control and support, and where no training is occurring. So at the moment we are training in Pleiku, so we can't govern there. We can't govern in Saigon either. That's one of the... So what does govern do anyway? Obtain aid or patronage. So let's all look. So the first step is saying if the US is a player, I guess there it's broken down. I suppose it's to fit it all on. If US player at victory, to take most patronage, do not use unshaded. Right, we've not got that anyway. So if the US is a player, it would take, and it was at a victory, if it was at his victory point total, what it needs to get, what is it, 50, 51? Then it would take the most patronage. Well, that's not the case. Yeah, because patronage, it shifts it, doesn't it? Transfer aid to patronage. And then, it's just support. Right, yeah, okay. And then that would knock the US score down. Okay, but that's not the case. Right, so yeah, there's slight differences in the rule book how it's written here, but so we're down to the second step, to take most patronage without shifting anywhere to neutral. Okay. Oh, what does all that mean? Right, okay, I've worked out the problem with that one then, because it needs to be a coin controlled space with support, and we don't have any that have got active support, so all the coin controlled spaces have passive support. And if we govern, it means we shift 1 level toward neutral, and going from passive support 1 level is neutral, and that says to make the most patronage without shifting anywhere to neutral. So we would have to skip that one, I think. And then it says if governed in exactly 1 space, or if aid equals 0, to add most aid. Well, maybe we can't govern then. Right, but hang on though. Yeah, I think we still can. I think you want to prioritise getting patronage, but no, maybe I shouldn't be looking. Look at the rule book, Grant. It says, if the US is a non-player or is not at victory per above, right, instead take the most patronage possible without shifting any space to neutral. Okay, a bit confused at the minute. Okay, I don't think we can do it, because I think we need to be doing the patronage rather than aid. If the US... No, that doesn't mean it's going to take aid at all. It's always going to take... Because on the player aid sheet for the player, it says each space add 3 times pop to aid, or if more ARVN cubes than US cubes, transfer 1 times pop from aid to patronage. So couldn't we just add 3 pop to aid? Or is that not what the ARVN want to be doing? Yeah, okay, I don't think we can do it, because it would have to shift something to neutral. So anyway, what's going to happen, I'm going to, if I eventually decide that it's worthy of showing, I might chuck this video out there to you, and we'll maybe find out where it all went wrong. Also, if we get any comments saying that it's maybe worthy of carrying on with this, I'll see. I might just keep going myself anyway. We'll see. Okay, so I don't think we can govern. So it said if none, we can go to transport. So now we're still paused in between our train here. So I think. So let's see what transport says. So up to 6 ARVN troops, then Rangers losing no coin control. So right, let me find that. Okay, this feels like it's a bit trickier, I think. Okay, sorry, I got cut off there. Right, so yeah, this does look a bit trickier, but I think I'm starting to break it down. So I don't know if we should be looking at where we should be going to or from here. It's just one space, from one space to another space. I seem to remember reading somewhere it's better to find out where they're going to rather than before where they're going from. But anyway, we'll look at it first here anyway. So from Laos, Cambodia, well, there's not any ARVN troops. Remember, we're trying to move up to 6 ARVN troops in 6 ARVN pieces. I think it can move a combination of troops, police and rangers up to 6. But it's well, actually it says 6 ARVN troops. No, maybe police are not involved then. My bad. It does say troops here, doesn't it? ARVN instead, transport up to 6 pieces, selecting ARVN troops, then rangers. It's just when it said 6 pieces there, I thought maybe police were involved, but no. Oh well, that's a different story then, because I was thinking Saigon's got 5 pieces, whereas all the other cities, apart from Da Nang, have 4 ARVN pieces, but 2 of them are police. So the most we're going to get is 2 troops. I don't think there's not any rangers on the board as well. Or maybe I should be showing you this. Yeah, so to move from, all the cities have 2 troops. Well, not honestly, apart from Da Nang, I think they all have 2 troops. And there's not any rangers. Where's the rangers then? Ah, yeah, 3 are out of play and 3 are in the available box. That's what it is. So we're only going to be able to move 2. And now, if we were to move 2 out of these, it would only leave 2 police. I think there's maybe something that might stop that. Hang on. Actually, maybe not. As long as they don't drop coin control, I think you can move out. So transport first from Laos, Cambodia. Well, there's not any in Laos or Cambodia, and then in South Vietnam, and it says the most. Where are we? Most ARVN troops above control. It says in the rule book. Then from South Vietnam space with the most ARVN troops above those needed to keep coin control. Okay. So that actual fact would be any of these cities, because they're still going to keep coin control on them. So we need to break that down even further. Well, that's as far as we're getting, isn't it? So, yeah, so the move from is either going to be from there, if there's not any in there, which there's not, it's the most ARVN troops, as long as we're keeping coin control. So I think we'd have to randomise between all the cities then, to get that. However, yeah, we might need to find out where we're moving to as well. Maybe this is why you need to maybe prioritise where they're going to, because if we randomise to a city where they then can't move to, then that's kind of not going to work, is it? So let's look at the 2 space first. If trainer patrol, which is what we are, into 1 province, 1 where police but no troops, and 2 to change most control. And then it says within 1 and 2 highest pop. So we're looking for prioritising a province that's got police, no troops, and the highest pop, I think. Right, I was away there for a little bit. So I'm looking for police with no troops. Is that right? Where are we? Move on to 1 province. First 1 that has police but no US or ARVN troops. Or if there's no such reachable space, move as to change control of the destination space. And within these priorities, highest population. Okay, so let's see if there's, I've got some cubes that I say there. I didn't have wee black meeples, so I've got green ones. There's no green on the board, so they kind of work. So places that there's not, well, I suppose way down here, there is police here. With no troops. Now, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself here. Maybe I should be looking into the priorities rather than, that's a police. Everywhere else, where there's police, there's also some troops. Okay, so we've got the 4 possible spots, and out of these, I know maybe I can't see it, but this one's population is 2, all the rest are 1. So I guess this gets the priority as long as we can move troops from there. And well, Cam Tho and Saigon are adjacent to this province, so my guess is they could move. Now, they can move along lines of communication. That's what could start getting things tricky, but I don't think we need to go into that, because it also says I think they can move down lines of communication and through cities as well. Oops, sorry. Yeah, I guess this is a bit that's kind of confuses me a little bit. Again, I'm going back to the main rules for the player, and under transport it talks about select 1 space and move up to 6 ARVN troops and rangers. From there onto 1 or more adjacent LOCs if desired. They may continue to move along adjacent LOCs or through cities, and then if desired into any adjacent destinations. There's no discussion of that within the SO rules that I can see with the non-player rules. I'm just wondering if you, because that's actual transport, if that's still kind of, I mean, I guess it does. It doesn't really talk. It just says move them. It says just transport them. So my guess is I've got to look at rules for transport back in the main rules. Well, we'll go with that. Maybe if this sees the light of day, somebody can keep me straight if I get it wrong. It's probably going to be a few things going wrong or whatever, and whether there's too much goes wrong, and I maybe need to just stop. Okay, but I don't think we need to go into that, because if this is the highest population space, then there's 2 troops that could come from Canfo or 2 troops that could come from Saigon into there. So I think that's what's going to happen. Okay, I think I'm just going to go with this, and we'll find out. You can all tell me I'm wrong. So it's either coming from they 2, and both of them can only produce 2. Yeah, because if one of them could move 3 troops, I think we would take that, as long as we're keeping control of the place we're leaving. So it's between the 2. So my guess is it's going to be a randomizer there. So I'll just roll a dice for that. I'll just roll it off camera. We'll say 1, 2, 3 for Cantho and 4, 5, 6 for Saigon. So we got a 6. So the troops are going to move. Yeah, these 2 ARVN troops are going to move into here. Well, actually, I'm doing that just now. Shouldn't I be? Should I do that now? Well, that's a space that they're going to transport to. So these can all come off, because there was only 1 space. So this is where we're going to train. Train, was it? Yeah, this is where we're going to train, and this is where we're going to transport to. And you know what? I've got a wee blue cubes, which they're alright. They're a wee bit darker than the VC. So we're going to transport from Saigon into Kien Ho. I don't think I should move them just yet. Let's look back. Hang on. Okay, I'm not sure when you should actually, should we go back and do the train thing? But then we're not finished with that train, weren't we? We were putting that on pause. So I suppose we should complete this transport. But I know you can do special activities and operations in any order you choose, and you can sometimes pause it. Well, I suppose that's kind of what we're doing, aren't we? We've paused the train to do this. Well, let's look further on. 4, if assault, well, we're not assaulting. 5, if sweep, well, we're not sweeping. And then 6, flip all rangers underground. Ah, right, so if you transported any rangers, they would then go underground. Right, so we're not doing that. But I think it is safe to move these 2 ARVN cubes from Saigon into, what is it? Kien Ho with a transport. Right, so now we go back to the train, I think. Okay, it is possible that I probably should have put the cubes in here first then. I'm just not quite sure. I know, like I say, you can do them in any such order if you're a player, but whether it matters to how the non-player bots do it or not, it's not really saying. It did say pause there, but I think the pause was maybe after we had placed the cubes. So we're wanting 6 cubes evenly. Fewest first, troops and tie. Well, there's nothing in there at all, so my guess is going to be, it's going to be 3 it's going to be 3 troops and 3 police, I would have thought. And that keeps it nice and even. So, would that be right? Right, and then also with that, we're going to take control where we didn't have, this was uncontrolled. We are going to take control of Pliku. So we gain a coin control there. That gives us 1 coin point, so that's the ARVN score goes up by 1. Don't that make sense? So I think that's right. Okay, so back to the train, and this is what was step 2 that we just jumped away from there to do the special activity. So 3 is, in one South Vietnam province with 5+ US ARVN but no coin base, place base replacing 3 troops / police, evenly most first troops in Thai. Wow, okay. But in the rules, I was reading that, and it was, when you go over it actually reading it in the rules, it felt like it was a bit more clear to me. So it says, after governing or transporting, oh wait a minute though, I just read that. I read it as govern. We didn't govern, did we? We transported. So after governing or transporting, if any was possible, and if no more than 2 train spaces were selected above, well, we only picked 1 train space, that was all we were able to do, so we can carry on with this. So we're going to train to replace 3, or we're going to try to train to replace 3 ARVN cubes with an ARVN base in one province in South Vietnam where no govern occurred. So I was thinking it was meaning where we had trained, but it's not saying that. And where there are at least 5 total US and ARVN units, including at least 3 ARVN cubes, and no US or ARVN base already. Okay, that does kind of play Q because there's a US base there. Right, let's try and break this down a bit then. Actually, don't think we have anything because we need 5+. So at least 5. Where is it again? Where am I? At least 5 US/ARVN, but where there's not a base. And the only 2 places we've got 5, at least 5, is Pleiku, where there's a US base, and Saigon has 5, where there's a US base. These other cities only have 4. So I don't think there's anywhere with 5+. So then, okay, so 3 doesn't work for us. So 4 is, if no base placed, so it was like if we don't do 3, which we don't, pacify, training in a 4th space for 0 resources if needed. Tiebreakers are in space already selected above, and then at enemy base. So if no base placed, pacify. Ooh, right, well, we need to find out what that does. Okay, so no ARVN base was placed, pacify in 1 training space per 8.76. So that tells you about pacify. Whenever non-player ARVN pacify, whether during training or support phase, they do so where able. However, they do so to shift passive support to active support. Okay, so it says they do so where able to pacify. However, they do so to shift passive support to active support only so long as support plus available remains at 45 or less. Well, it is less. The thing is, they've got to select the space that we trained in. Is that not right? Did I not read that? Oh, oops, sorry. Okay, again, to try and find out what pacify, I'm having to come back to the actual main rules Pacify to remove any terror marker, then to shift the space up to 2 levels toward active support. So I'm guessing you just have to do that. For, oh, wait a minute. There's a wee box in the... Right, my bad. There is a wee box in the flow chart. Hang on. Yeah, there is a box here that tells you, although that just similar to what it tells you in 8.76. Although that does say, yeah, I don't know, maybe just not grasping it right. Remove terror only for shift. Create active support only as long as US victory remains 45 or less. Everywhere we're able, and you want to prioritise where no terror at any opposition, and then for greatest total shift. And the thing is, I think this is the only train space we had, so my understanding is that's the only place we can pacify. So it's irrelevant of what the score, what the 45 or less bit is. Where no terror, well, there is terror here, but again, it's the only place, so we just need to... It's not saying you can't do it there, I don't think. I mean, you'll do it first where there's no terror. I think that's because you get a better shift, because my understanding is the terror's got to go away first before we can then shift. So it's going to basically cost more to get less, if you like, yeah. So, and then at any opposition, well, it is passive opposition. So I think what we do here is, and now it costs 3 ARVN resources for each shift. Now, I thought I read somewhere you can only do it twice. Does that include and remove the terror as well, though? I see what it's trying to stop. It's not wanting the support and available to go above 45, because that's the USA victory. Well, 45 is not the victory condition, but it's doesn't want it to go too high, so it's kind of like stopping you from doing it there. Right, I'm not seeing anywhere here where it says you can do it once or twice, but on the... Again, going back to the rules for the players, pacify to remove any terror marker, and then to shift the space, up to 2 levels towards active support. Oh, okay. Yeah, and I did read it. It does say on the player aid for the ARVN, pacify 1 to 2 levels. So it must be on top of the terror. So if we want to move it 2 levels, it's going to cost 3 resources to remove the terror, and then an R6 to bump that up twice. So will it go that far? And by the way, it's not paid. It should have paid 3 resources for this train. I'll just take that off just now. So it's on 30, 1, 2, 3. So it's on 27 with the train. So it's going to drop another 9 if it goes full on here. So I just want to check that it would do that. So it says remove terror only if a shift would be achieved, and then it's got in brackets because enough ARVN resources will remain after removing the terror. The space is not yet at active support, and a 1 level shift would not increase support and available to above 45. Ooh, jings. Right, okay. Alright, I'm just going to go with this. So he's going to spend 3 to have to remove the terror first, and then another 3 to put that to neutral, which drops the VC score by 1 to 31, and then another 3 to move this to passive support, which increases support and avail, so that increases the US score by 1. Right, okay. Right, and that would cost 9 more resources, so, well, so 27 is down to 18. So it's down to 18 resources, so hopefully it was alright to do all that. And I did it right. Don't feel confident about it all. Okay, I think that's everything actually. I think that's them done. Operation and a special activity where they trained here. They transported from Saigon to Kien Ho, and then they also pacified, removing the terror and increasing support in Pleiku as well. Yeah. Okay, we'll go with that. So I think this video's going on long enough, so I'm going to cut it here. Well, that's the end of the first card, isn't it? Yeah, because they become, well, actually, just to finish it off properly, these now become ineligible. Yeah, they become ineligible, and we discard this card. Where am I going? Well, you know what? I'll just put it up there out of the way. That's discard pile. This becomes the next card, and this becomes the next card. So we're going to go with this one first, which is, well, VC are inactive. So we're going to get a shot. We're going to be the first eligible on that card. Okay, I'll pause this for now, guys, and, well, again, like I say, whether you get to see this or not, I'm going to have a review back on it, have a look, see if I can notice anything horrible, and the thing is, I might not see all the mistakes that I'm making. So what I might do before I start recording anymore is just put the video out there to you guys, and if any of you have any tips or any kind of comments, or if you think this is useful to you, it might be useful to me and myself. I think playing it this way is how I like to do things. I like go to the rules and check everything, whatever. I mean, I probably should have more of an understanding of the game before I'm trying to record it, though. Then that might be a bit too clunky for some people to watch. So yeah. Anyway, let me know what you think. Okay, cheers.